Okay, we got to Parashat Pekudei, the last parsha on the Sefer of Shmot. I just want to do some quick explanation. Usually Parashat Vayakhel Pekudei, they join together. That's when every year, normal year, we read Parashat Pekudei. The only time that we read Parashat Pekudei separately, it's only like when we have a leap year, like this year that we have a leap year. Therefore, we separate Parashat Vayakhel from Parashat Pekudei. But usually, the both of the last parshiyot on Sefer Shmot, we read them together. Okay. בעזרת השם נעשה ונצליח והשם עלינו ברחמיו ירוויח. אלה פקודי המשכן, משכן העדות אשר פוקד על פי משה, עבודת הלוויים ביד איתמר בן אהרון הכהן.
These are the reckonings of the tabernacle of testimony, which were reckoned at Moses' bidding. The labor of the Levites was under the authority of Isamar, son of Aaron, the Kohen.
Okay, I'm going to try today to explain the pasuk, just the first verse. It might going to take some time, but I want to go through it word by word. Ele, it means those. Rabbi Chaim ben Atar, Or HaChaim HaKadosh say, why is the Torah have to say ele, the word ele, dafka ele? Why that word? Why it have to be the word ele? So Rabbi Chaim ben Atar explained that the main reason for it, that the Torah starts with it, it's come to teach us that here Moshe come to disqualify what happened in the golden calf. What's happened in the golden calf? The Jewish people, when they was underneath that kind of a situation with the Erev Rav, and the Erev Rav that created the golden calf, especially said the Erev Rav and not the Jewish people, they forced Aaron our Kohen to do what's happened with the witchcrafting. We explained that before. But what does it say there? Ele Elohecha Israel. It said that they say, and they're referring to the golden calf, that those are your God that you took out of Egypt. And who's those God they're referring? They're referring to the golden calf. Here Moshe come to disqualify what it's mentioned in the golden calf and to disqualify those words of Ele. He come to say Ele Pekudei HaMishkan. What it mean Ele Pekudei HaMishkan? Those are the reckoning. You're referring to now to the counting. So what they say in the golden calf is being disqualified. Okay. Pekudei. What it mean Pekudei? Pekudei referring to the reckoning. Am I right? Reckoning. The reckoning. What is reckoning? We have to understand. Reckoning in Hebrew is pkida. Pkida is accounting. So when we know the law that it said that a person not allowed to count, so how come did Moshe Rabbeinu here counting what he received for the Mishkan? So there's two explanations. Explanation number one, he's not allowed to count, but he have to give, Moshe Rabbeinu have to give a report. Number two, where do we learn that you're not allowed to count? So the Gemara in Masechet Ta'anit, Daf Het Amud Bet, page 8, the following page, say, אין הברכה שרויה אלא בדבר הסמוי מן העין. That means that if you want a brocha on something, it's only if it's hidden from the eyes. Wow. So we have to understand what it means. Hagaon Misochotchov. Who was the Gaon Misochotchov? And now we're going to explain how come that Moshe Rabbeinu can count what he received. So Rabbi Avraham Weinberg, his name, Rabbi Avraham Weinberg. He born in Poland 72 years ago. He been shot by the Nazis, Yimach Shimam Vezichram, when he refused to go on up, to go on a truck, when he refused to go to the track that took him from ghetto Varsha, that took the people from ghetto Varsha to Treblinka, Rabbi Avraham Weinberg refused to get to that track, and the Nazi Yimach Shimam Vezichram shot him dead. And he explained that. How can Moshe Rabbeinu can count, even that the Gemara say no, and we know before in Parashat Kitisa we explained that it's not good to count people. It's been pasken for halacha that we should not count people. How did Moshe count the money here? The gold, the silver, whatever he got, the copper. So he explained like this. If it was a normal man, okay, you're not allowed. But a holy man like Moshe Rabbeinu, he can count. Why? Because the evil eye cannot be and not come from a man like Moshe. Moshe Rabbeinu with his holiness would never allow the evil eye to control. So that's why he can count. Well, that's what he can do, the reckoning of what been given to the tabernacle. Now we understand why he can. Let's go a bit forward. And it said twice in the pasuk, HaMishkan, Mishkan. The word tabernacle mentioned one after each other. Why is that? HaMishkan, Mishkan. So to understand that, we have to go to Rashi. Rashi HaKadosh say, by the way, Rashi here bring the Midrash Tanhuma that been written by Rabbi Tanhuma. And he bring what Rabbi Tanhuma say in his Midrash. What's the reason? And he said like this. That the Bet HaMishkan, let me just find it, sorry, here's it. Shne Pa'amim, that it means that it's mentioned twice. Ramaz למקדש שנתמשכן בשני חורבנים על עוונותם של ישראל. What does it mean? That twice the Mishkan that's referring to Bet HaMikdash, the temple that got destroyed twice. Okay? What does it come to tell us? That he come to tell us that we know that we have two temples. Bet HaMikdash HaRishon, the first temple, got destroyed for three reasons. Number one, Avodah Zarah, idols, worshipping idols. Number two, Gilui Arayot, immorality. And number three, the third reason is Shfichut Damin, murder. The second temple, when is it got destroyed? What's the reason that caused it to destroy? Not when. Because Sinat Hinam, baseless hatred. So, our sages come and explain why did Rashi say what he said. Shenit Mashken Pa'amayim, that because it's been destroyed twice. It's come to tell you only after we're gonna do tshuva and we're gonna fix all of those deeds. That's Sinat Hinam, Shpichut Damim, Gilui Arayot, Avodah Zarah. Only then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will build the third Bet HaMikdash. Please God, it will be speedily nowadays. So it's come to tell us something very interesting here. That HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants us to do tshuva. So the Torah hinting to us that when you're going to get the third temple, when you're going to change your deeds, the bad deeds that you've done in the first temple, because that it got destroyed, and when you change the deed that caused the second temple also to get destroyed. So that's why it's mentioned twice. Ha'idut. What it mean ha'idut? The testimony. What testimony? So again, we're going to bring the explanation, the commentary of Rabbi Chaim ben Attar in his book Or HaChaim HaKadosh, and he explained from that because it said the testimony, from here we take it that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given us a testimony that He forgive the Jewish people for the sins of Het HaEgel. How can we learn that? Just from that word. So Rabbi Chaim ben Attar bring few ideas to show us that whatever happened in Het HaEgel to create the golden calf happened in building of the tabernacle, building the Mishkan. For example, when they created the golden calf, the man given the gold. Building the Mishkan, everyone given gold. Midah keneged midah, measure for measure. With the gold, what did they done? In Het HaEgel, they created the calf, the golden calf. In a Mishkan, exactly the opposite. They created the house of holiness. What it means a house of holiness? They create a holy place for HaKadosh Baruch Hu to dwell. Again, measure for measure. To fix what they damage, here they're doing it. Again, who created the Egel HaZahav? Who was the one that been forced to do that? Aaron HaKohen. Bezalel was the one that built the Mishkan, the tabernacle. So from here we see that HaKadosh Baruch Hu, by that the Jewish people done repentance on the same steps that they done in Egel HaZahav, they done it in building the tabernacle, the Mishkan, they done tshuva, repentancy, and HaKadosh Baruch Hu said that He forgave them. And if HaKadosh Baruch Hu forgive them, where do we learn that? By that it's I do the testimony. That's how Rabbi Chaim ben Attar explained the first verse. We're going to move on to verse 22, and the same chapter 38, verse 22, and it says like this. ובצלאל בן אורי בן חור למטה יהודה עשה את כל אשר ציווה אדוני את משה.
Bezalel, the son of Uri, the son of Hur, of the tribe of Yehuda, did everything that Hashem commanded Moses.
Okay. The Torah tells us that Bezalel done whatever HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded Moshe. The question that we can ask, what it didn't say that Bezalel done what Moshe commanded him. Why does it have to say what HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded Moshe? Say that Moshe done, Bezalel done whatever he been commanded by Moshe Rabbeinu. Why is that? So the Rambam, Rabbi Moshe ben Nachman. Rabbi Moshe ben Nachmani, that's the Rambam. He said here something very interesting. He said that when Moshe Rabbeinu spoke to Bezalel and he told them to build tabernacle, to build all the vessel that was around them, he started like this. He said first to create the ark, to build the ark, then to build the kaporet, the shulchan. Shulchan is the table. Then to build the menorah, everyone know what is menorah. The mizbeach is the altar. And only in the end, Moshe Rabbeinu said to Bezalel, build the Mishkan, the tabernacle. Okay? Bezalel said to Moshe, tell me, my master Moshe Rabbeinu, maybe when HaKadosh Baruch Hu told you to build, maybe He told you first to build the tabernacle, first to build the Mishkan, and after that to build the ark, the kaporet, the shulchan, the menorah, the altar, and the rest of the vessel. Immediately Moshe Rabbeinu realized that Bezalel is not a simple person. And he said to him, now I understand why they call you Bezalel. If we take the word Bezalel and we divide it to two, Bezalel, that means in the shadow of Hashem. Moshe Rabbeinu said to Bezalel, now I understand why your name is Bezalel. When HaKadosh Baruch Hu spoke to me, you was in the shadow. You listen what HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me. HaKadosh Baruch Hu told me first to build a Mishkan. But I wanted to test you. And I start from back to front, and you correct me. You told me first we should build the Mishkan, the tabernacle, and then all the vessels that have to be inside. So the Mefarshim say, ask a question. How come that Moshe Rabbeinu done this test? So there is many opinion about it. I'm just going to answer that shortly, just to explain that here Moshe Rabbeinu wanted to know the level of Bezalel. How did Bezalel reach to that level that he been chosen to build the entire Mishkan with all the vessels inside? He wanted to understand, and that was a proof to him. Who was Bezalel? Okay. Rabbi Yaakov Baal HaTurim says something very interesting. That the full name of Bezalel mentioned 3 times. Bezalel ben Uri ben Hur. Okay? And it said not only that he was, the grandfather was Hur, it said Mate Yehuda. 3 times it's mentioned. It's come to tell us something very interesting. It's come to tell us that Bezalel reached to 3 different levels. Or a matter of fact, he had those 3 good ma'alot on him. And what are they? Rashi Tevot, Chabad, Chokhmah, Bina, Da'at. What does it mean? It means wisdom, understanding, and knowledge. Bezalel reached to a level that he have all 3 of them. And that's why the Torah come and witness 3 times the full name of Bezalel. That's what it's mentioned. We're going to move on. We're going to move to verse 24. And in verse 24, we're going to read about the gold. Let's see what it's mentioned about the gold. כל הזהב העשוי למלאכה, בכל מלאכת הקודש, ויהי זהב התנופה, 9 או 20 כיכר, ו730 שקל בשקל הקודש.
All the gold that was used for the work, for all the holy work. The offered up gold was 29 talents and 730 shekels in the sacred shekel.
Okay. We have to understand what's happening here. We go to Rashi. Rashi HaKadosh say that from this verse we're learning that here Moshe Rabbeinu given a report, that means given a balance sheet, how much gold he received, how much silver, how much copper, and all the other stuff that been given to build the Mishkan. Okay. But we have to understand what it says in the Pasuk. Kol hazahav ha'asui, all the gold that been made. What does it come to teach us? Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh HaKadosh tell us, and also Or HaChaim HaKadosh, Rabbi Chaim ben Atar, they're both saying the same. And they say like this. By that the Torah come to tell us, Kol hazahav ha'asui lamelacha, it's come to teach us very important. Kol hazahav, let's explain that word. All the gold. What does it mean, all the gold? Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh say, and Rabbi Chaim ben Atar say, both of them say, that from that 2 words that we're saying, all the gold, it's come to teach us that all the gold that the Jewish people given, that was enough. That was exactly what they brought, that was exactly what they used. Pashut. So what's the question here? Simple. It's come to tell us, no, it's not so simple. We know one very important thing. When people melt gold, because they brought jewelry, they needed to melt the jewelry, to use that gold, basically to cover all different things. We know that with that gold they cover the acacia trees, Mizbah HaZahav, that also with that they cover the acacia tree that make the Mizbah HaZahav, the Amudim, all different things, also to make the menorah. So on a process of melting gold, inevitably you lose part of that weight of the gold. By that the Torah tells us, V'kol hazahav, a miracle happened. That no gold actually been lost. Rabbi Chaim ben Attar and Rabbi Moshe Al-Sheikh HaKadosh say, a miracle happened by the process of melting and then creating the gold again to cover, to plate the Mizbeach, to make from it the menorah. Not 1 milligram was missing. That's one miracle happened. Okay? Ha'asui la-melacha. What does it mean, ha'asui la-melacha? Our sages explain. Not only that, I'm going to bring another opinion, that all the gold that been brought was exactly to what they need. Not less, not more. Another miracle happened here with the gold. Also, the opinion of Al-Sheikh HaKadosh and opinion of Rabbi Chaim ben Attar, they said that the miracle that happened there, that the gold that they brought, not enough, that nothing was missing from it. Another miracle happened, that was a gold, after they used it, was exactly enough to what they need. Not more, not less. So from here we see another miracle that happened in the Mishkan. Rabotai, we're going to move to verse 28. And here we're going to learn about the hooks and the pillow. Let's see what the Torah come to try to teach us here, what we can learn from that verse. ואת 1,775 עשה בבים לעמודים, וציפה ראשיהם וחישק אותם.
And from the 1,775, he made hooks for the pillars, covered their tops and banded them.
Okay. The Torah here come to tell us something very important, that it was 1,775 shekel that been given, and from them they make a hooks. Okay, they make a hooks for the pillows. So, why dafka that? We have to ask ourselves. So to understand that, the Zohar say, Rabbi Shimon ben Yochai say in the Zohar something very interesting. Moshe Rabbeinu forgot 1,775 shekel to report. He forgot to report that. In his balance sheet, it wasn't there. Immediately come voice from heaven to say, Moshe Rabbeinu maybe forgot to report about it, but he used the 1,775 shekel to create the hooks for what? For the pillow. That's why the Torah come and tell us specifically what happened with the 1,775 shekels, to teach us that maybe Moshe Rabbeinu forgot, but a voice from heaven come to show that Moshe Rabbeinu has v'shalom didn't took not even 1 cent. So no one will have has v'shalom a word to say about Moshe Rabbeinu. We're going to move to verse 29. Now we're going to speak about the copper. Here it tells us, ונחושת התנופה 70 כיכר ו2,400 שקל.
The offered up copper was 70 talents and 2,400 shekels.
Okay. Here the Torah tells us how much copper being given. So the Mefarshim ask, how come that the Torah tells us exactly how much copper being given? It has to teach us something very important. So I saw a different commentary, and I would like to share with you, and I think that it's very relevant to what's happening to us quite often. And that's what I would like to share with you. Moshe Rabbeinu here gave a report, given a balance sheet, how much copper being given. Our sages tell us, the Mefarshim explain that why it's mentioned the copper. So it's explained that dafka those that usually give the less tzedakah, the less teruma, Always they want that one din v'heshbon. They always want a balance sheet. They want to see where is everything gone. So the Mefarshim say that here, the Torah come to tell us that those copper that been given to the Mishkan, Moshe Rabbeinu give a full report. And why is that? Because it's come to tell you not to give those people a reason not to give. And what does it mean? I'm going to explain. Those people that usually give the list always cause the most havoc, make the most noise. And the main reason is, if they find a mistake with the report, with the balance sheet, they'll have an alibi not to give any more tzedakah. So here, Moshe Rabbeinu done dafka, giving them exactly the balance sheet to the point. Dafka for those not to have an alibi, not to give any more. That's what Moshe Rabbeinu done. Let's go to chapter 39, verse 1. Here, it says something very interesting. Just towards the end of the verse, it says, "Ka'asher tziva Adonai et Moshe." I'm just going to read all of that verse. כל יתדות החצר סביב ומן התכלת והארגמן ותולעת השני עשו בגדי שרד לשרת בקודש ויעשו בגדי הקודש אשר לאהרון כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה. Remember the last כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה, we're talking about 5 words. The last 5 words that I want to focus. But we read all of that verse.
From the turquoise, purple, and scarlet wool, they made knit vestments to serve in the sanctuary. They made the holy vestments for Aaron, and as Hashem had commanded Moshe.
As Hashem commanded Moshe. Now, if you see after every job that Bezalel done, and it was being watched by Moshe Rabbeinu, and also being done by Eliav, that means that Bezalel and Eliav, they was in charge about, they was the craftsman, the major craftsman, or the engineer if you want to call it. Everything been done. A voice used to come out of heaven, and it said, "Es HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded Moshe." Why is that? So the Mefarshim explain that after every job that been done, this voice used to come out of heaven for 2 reasons. Number 1, to show that whatever Moshe was in charge on, Bezalel and Eliav been done exactly like they've been commanded by Kadosh Baruch Hu. Number 2, to take from those people that have any doubt, Has v'Shalom, that something was missing. That's exactly what HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded, that's exactly what they done, and with exactly amount of gold, exactly amount of silver, exactly amount of copper, or any other stuff that they brought, like the tchelet, the argaman, exactly they used it. Nothing been taken, Has v'Shalom, to their own pocket. So that's what it say after every job, say, Es HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded Moshe. Ka'asher tziva Adonai et Moshe. The voice used to come from heaven, not to give anyone any doubt, Has v'Shalom, if the job is done properly, or Has v'Shalom was, I don't want to mention the word, but it's not nice to say, but Has v'Shalom, someone took something to his pocket. We move on to verse 7. Verse 7 speak about the breastplate, and we're going to explain, Be'ezrat Hashem, what that pasuk tried to teach us. And the pasuk say like this: וישם אותם על כתפות האפוד, אבני זיכרון לבני ישראל, כאשר ציווה אדוני את משה.
He placed them on the shoulder straps of the ephod, as remembrance stones for the sons of Israel, as Hashem had commanded Moshe.
Okay, as you see again, when they finished to done the ephod, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, again, voice come of heaven, to say that es command HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But that's not what we're going to speak. We're going to speak here about the stone. Avnei Zikaron. What does it mean, Avnei Zikaron? It's a memory stone. What is the memory stone here? So to understand that, we have to go to understand what the Or Sameach said. The Or Sameach, that we're speaking about is Rabbi Meir Simcha Cohen Mitvinsk. He born 171 years ago. He born to a city next to Vilna. Okay? And he said that he bringing us a midrash that about Yosef HaTzadik. What's happened with Yosef HaTzadik? When Yosef HaTzadik was in the house of Potiphar, and he had the test with the wife of Potiphar that tried to seduce him every day, every minute. The Midrash say, Rabotai, listen to me carefully, I'm actually frightened to say that Yosef almost collapsed. What it means collapse? He almost agreed to sin with Potiphar's wife. By the way, the wife of Potiphar, her name is Zilka. And the Mefarshim said that he almost agreed, and immediately the image of his father appeared in front of him. And he said to him, my son, I want you to understand, if you're going to sin with this woman, the stone, the shoham stone that was belonged to Yosef, not going to be on a breastplate. Yosef immediately got courage and stood up, and we know that in the end he never sinned with Potiphar's wife. And that's what they call him Yosef HaTzadik, that he was so holy that he never sinned with immorality. Okay. So what's the connection? So the Or Sameach say, Rabbi Meir Simcha, a Kohen Mitving say, in his book, Meshech Chochmah. He wrote a book, and it's a commentary on the Torah, and it's called Meshech Chochmah. He said that from here you learn that when people used to look at the ephod given them kind of a spirit not to sin. When people used to look at the ephod, there used to be actually shame to create a sin. מתביישים לעשות עבירות. That means that they was too shy to create avera. So from here we're learning what it means avnei zikaron, memory stone. That the memory stone come to tell us on who? Of Yosef HaTzadik. When the face, when the image of his father, Diokano shel Aviv, it say in Hebrew. That means the image of his father appeared to him and start speaking to him. So from here we see the power of the tzaddik. Where is it gone? To the stone on the ephod. Now we see what we're missing when we don't have the Kohen Gadol and we don't have the ephod. We're going to move on to verse 32. Verse 32 can be found on page 534 in the Art Scroll. And that word, it says something very interesting. ותחל כל עבודת משכן אוהל מועד ויעשו בני ישראל ככל אשר ציווה אדוני את משה כן עשו.
All the work of the tabernacle, the tent of meeting, was completed, and the children of Israel had done everything that Hashem had commanded Moshe. So did they do.
Okay, sorry. Shukra, Ivan. It says something very interesting. That all the work of the tabernacle got completed. As HaKadosh Baruch Hu commanded Moshe, Bnei Israel done. The children of Israel, they done it. What does it come to teach us? So there is a book that's called Tzror Amor. The book Tzror Amor been written by Rabbi Avraham Tzaba. Who was Rabbi Avraham Tzaba? We explained in the past. I'm just going to repeat it quick. Rabbi Avraham Tzaba was the father-in-law of Rabbi Yosef Karo, Maran Abet Yosef, that wrote the Shulchan Aruch. And his family was from the people that have to fled from Spain. And when he fled from Spain, he lost most of his family. The history just we're going to explain. His children been kidnapped, some of them been murdered, and the wife. He have one daughter, and that daughter married the Marana Bet Yosef, Rabbi Yosef Karo. Rabbi Avraham Tzaba said in his book Tzror Amor about this pasuk, Vatachel kol avodat hamishkan, and all the work of the tabernacle being completed. What does it mean being completed? He said that the craftsman did start the work, but HaKadosh Baruch Hu was the one to help them to complete the entire job. Not only the complete, that it will be succeed exactly what he wants. What has it come to teach us? It's come to teach us, he say here, a derech eretz. What is derech eretz? We can learn from it. Every morning we go to work. It's a mitzvah. The Rambam say that when a person go in the morning, Rabotai, to work, it's a mitzvah. Why? שלא ילסטן את הבריות. That means that he's not gonna steal from other people. But it's come to teach us something else. That's when you go to work, don't think that you're doing the work. You go, you start. HaKadosh Baruch Hu will help you that you'll have a prosperity on your job. ותחל כל עבודת המשכן. That the entire work completed by who? By HaKadosh Baruch Hu, not by the craftsmen. They maybe started it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu given them the wisdom, the knowledge, and the brocha to finish the tabernacle. Okay. We go to verse, with that I'm going to conclude, verse 43. And here Moshe Rabbeinu blessed the Jewish people. And we see what kind of a blessing. וירא משה את כל המלאכה, והנה עשו אותה כאשר ציווה אדוני, כן עשו, ויברך אותם משה.
Moses saw the entire work, and behold, they had done it as Hashem had commanded. So they had done, and Moshe blessed them.
And Moshe blessed them. That's what I want to end up, because they say that it's always good to end up with something good. What it means, and that's what Moshe blessed them. And Moshe blessed them. ויברך אותם משה. רש"י הקדוש say, שתשרה שכינה במעשה ידיכם. That means, Rashi say that you should have Shekhinah, it's the presence of Hashem in your hand. That means prosperity in your hand. But what did Rashi try to tell us? Rashi come to tell us that if you want to have a prosperity, you want a blessing with what you do, you have to do the first step. You have to start doing something, and then HaKadosh Baruch Hu will bless you. But you have to do the first steps, the same like we mentioned before. What it says, "Vatachel kol hamelacha," like Rabbi Avraham Tzaba explained, that you have to do the first steps. HaKadosh Baruch Hu then will come and help you. But Moshe come and say it's not just enough that he will help you. He blessed the Jewish people what? That they should have prosperity with whatever they do. Because it's come to teach us here moral. It's not how much you earn. It's how much brocha you have with this money that you get. People can earn a very high salary, but if they don't have a brocha with that, all of that money, lo aleinu go, repairing washing machine, fridges, vehicle, you name it. HaKadosh Baruch Hu not short to give you thing to waste your money. HaKadosh Baruch Hu wants you to have prosperity. Moshe Rabbeinu say, you want prosperity? There's only one, brocha. That if you want prosperity, you need to get it from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. But the first steps have to come from you. You have to do the first steps. And I'm going to bring another opinion. With that, I'm going to conclude. The Zohar tells us something very interesting. That when a person sits and eats on his table, and we know that the table referring to prosperity, and prosperity is something that we all want, the Zohar says after you finish to eat, Rabotai, listen to that. You want a remedy. The Zohar says that when you finish to eat, leave the bread on the table. You do Birkat HaMazon. While you're doing the Birkat HaMazon, the bread should stay on the table. Why? So HaKadosh Baruch Hu can bring prosperity to that table. Rabot, are you listening to what I'm saying? Here is a remedy that HaKadosh Baruch Hu given us. After you finish to eat, leave the bread, cover it, say Birkat HaMazon, and then the prosperity can come. Why? Because you leave something on a table that HaKadosh Baruch Hu can bless. And what do we want to bless? Is our food, that we should have more prosperity. So here it's come to teach us one very important thing. Vayevarech otam Moshe, Moshe blessed them what? That they will have prosperity. The Shekhinah should be lying in their hand. That's what Rashi said. I would like to bless all of us as we're concluding the last Parsha of Sefer Shmot, that we should be Nilech Mihail El Hail, Hazak Hazak, Venitchazek, and we should all have the prosperity from HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Amen, Ken Yehi Ratzon.